My name is Mr. Suleiman Edmondson, and I am running as a write-in candidate for the U.S. congressional seat for the 35th District of Los Angeles and South Bay. The reason why I am paying to have this election campaign video placed on YouTube.com is because the following television news stations and radio stations refuse to interview write-in candidates like myself. And the reason why they are not allowing me to speak to the American public is that they are pushing their own political agenda. Those news stations are KNBC, KCBS, KABC, KTLA, KCAL9, KTTV, the Fox Broadcasting Company news stations, the radio stations KNX 1070, KFI, and KJLH. I have a very, very important and urgent warning. And I am going to give you very dire future predictions at the end of this video for every man, woman, and child, young adult, teenager that resides in the 35th Congressional District. I have a title of World Event Psychic. I have predicted many viable, documented predictions that have come true, and I see great disasters and turmoil that are coming to the 35th District, to the state of California and the United States. The disasters that I have had come from spiritual visions that are directed towards the 35th District and the United States that come from God. These dire future predictions that I'm going to give you can be prevented if all of us now, every man, woman, and child, not only in the 35th District, but in the entire state of California, the United States, return to the eternal living God, the Sacred Heart of Jesus Christ, and the Holy Spirit and prayers. And also, help me to be elected as the next U.S. Congressman of the 35th District on the upcoming general election on November the 2nd, which is just a couple of weeks away. Again, I am Mr. Suleiman Edmondson. I predicted 9/11 and the Bush administration in Washington, D.C. in 2001 disregarded all of my warnings, and our country was attacked on September the 11th, 2001, which caused several thousand innocent men, women, and children to be killed in New York. I predicted that Cardinal Ratzinger would become the new pope, and he is now called Pope Benedict XVI. I predicted that Colin Powell would leave Washington, D.C., and leave the political arena entirely, and he did so. I predicted that Condoleezza Rice, during the Bush administration, would become the new Secretary of State, and she was. I predicted that Hillary Clinton would not receive the Democratic nomination to run for the presidency of the United States of America, and she did not. I predicted the most startling, unbelievable, and earth-shaking event in American history and in the United States government political arena. And that was the election of the first black president of the United States, and that was President Barack Obama, who was elected to one of the most powerful positions in the world as President of the United States of America. However, I now will give you some of the predictions that I see that will be facing the 35th District and the entire United States. I now predict that Congresswoman Maxine Waters, who currently represents the 35th District, will be forced out of office by the U.S. Congressional Ethics Committee during her legal trials, which will begin on November the 29th, 2010, 27 days after the November 2nd election, because of directing $12 million to her husband's bank, where her husband was on the board of directors. And her husband benefited in the receipt of that $12 million because they have a joint bank account, and much of that money went into the hands of her husband. When my prediction comes true and Maxine Waters, Democrat, and the U.S. Congresswoman who is currently misrepresenting the 35th District is found blatantly guilty of finance violations and is forced from office at that moment, every man, woman, and child in the 35th District will be without U.S. congressional representation. And that's very important. We will have no U.S. government money flowing into the 35th District for the creation of new businesses, new jobs, education for our children, city projects, helping homeless, or helping the homeless that are on the street, helping homeowners from losing their homes in foreclosure scenarios. And the 35th District has one of the highest home foreclosures in the United States and in the state of California. We can no longer lose more teachers, firefighters, paramedics, and policemen from losing their jobs, and they will in the 35th District if we have no U.S. representation in Congress. And we cannot afford the worst scenario. We cannot allow a Republican to be elected as a U.S. congressperson to the 35th District. That is why I, Mr. Suleiman Edmondson, have qualified and am now running as a write-in candidate. And let me repeat that again. I, Suleiman Edmondson, I have qualified to become a write-in candidate for the U.S. congressional seat for the 35th District on November 2nd general election. And you must write my name in. When you go to the election centers, you must ask the officials there to show you where on the ballot you must write my name in, and simply write Edmondson for the U.S. congressional seat for the 35th District. You do that, and I can win this seat on November the 2nd, 2010. My campaign slogan is this: I am the new spirit of America, and I have the capabilities and spiritual awareness to save the 35th District from impending disasters that will surely come if Maxine Waters is reelected on November the 2nd, 2010. And I appeal and call out to every black, white, American Native, Latino, and Asian Christian voter in the 35th District to stand up and fight for me.